Olu watches his 7-year-old daughter Dara's face light up as his mother carries the birthday cake around the party, handing out slices to each child at his nephew's celebration. The backyard is decorated with balloons and streamers, relatives laughing and taking photos, children running around in their party clothes. It's supposed to be a joyful family gathering, the kind Olu grew up with, the kind he wants Dara to experience despite everything. His mother moves methodically around the circle of kids sitting on the grass, placing paper plates with generous slices of chocolate cake in each small hand. She smiles at each child, says something kind, plays the doting grandmother role perfectly. Dara sits between her cousins, her braids tied with yellow ribbons matching her dress, bouncing slightly with anticipation as the cake gets closer. She loves chocolate cake. She's been talking about this party for weeks. His mother reaches Dara. The little girl holds up her hands expectantly, that beautiful smile spreading across her face, the smile that melts Olu's heart every single day, the smile that got him through the divorce, through the custody battles, through every hard moment of single fatherhood. His mother holds the plate just above Dara's outstretched hands, and for a moment, everything seems normal. Then she pulls the plate away, turns, and gives it to the child next to Dara instead. The room doesn't freeze, not literally, but Olu feels time slow down as he watches his daughter's smile fade into confusion. Dara's hands are still raised in the air, reaching for cake that's no longer there, her young mind trying to process what just happened. Around her, other children are already eating, chocolate smearing their faces, completely oblivious. But Dara sits there, hands slowly lowering, her expression shifting from confusion to hurt. "Mom." Olu's voice cuts through the party noise, sharper than he intended. "What are you doing?" He's walking toward them now, weaving through relatives who are starting to notice the tension. His mother doesn't even look at him, just continues to the next child, as if nothing happened. "Mom." Olu's voice rises. She finally turns, her expression cold and deliberate. "She doesn't need any," his mother says clearly, loudly enough for the nearby adults to hear. Then she smirks, actually smirks, and walks away. Olu tries to hold his anger for Dara's sake, pasting a smile on his face and crouching down beside her. "Hey, sweetheart, how about we go inside and get some juice? I think I saw chocolate milk in the fridge." Dara nods silently, her eyes too bright with unshed tears. She's 7 years old, but already learning to hide her hurt, and that breaks something in Olu's chest. As he leads Dara toward the house, his sister-in-law Tenny, Kunnel's wife, slips past him in the doorway. She leans close, her voice a whisper designed to wound. "Your child should know her place." The words are delivered with false sweetness, a smile on her face for any relatives watching, but her eyes are cold and satisfied. Olu's fists clench at his sides. Every instinct screams at him to respond, to defend, to rage. But Dara's small hand is in his, and he won't give them the satisfaction of seeing him lose control in front of his daughter. He guides Dara to the kitchen, pours her chocolate milk, and watches her drink it in silence, her joy completely extinguished. Through the open window, he hears his mother's voice carrying from the backyard, loud and performative. Olu can't control his child, always causing trouble at family events. "I told him to stay home, but does he listen? No. Now look at the atmosphere." People murmur in response, some agreeing, some making those non-committal sounds people make when they're uncomfortable but unwilling to intervene. Olu feels eyes on him as he stands in the kitchen. Relatives passing by glance at him with what looks like judgment, their expressions saying they've heard the gossip, they believe the narrative, they've already decided he's the problem. His daughter, barely tall enough to reach the counter, drinks her milk and pretends not to notice. "Daddy," Dara's voice is small, uncertain. "Did I do something bad?" The question shatters Olu. She's internalizing this, blaming herself, thinking she deserved to have cake withheld while every other child got some. "No, baby," he says, kneeling to her level, his voice thick with emotion. "You didn't do anything wrong. Nothing at all. Some people are just." He struggles to find words that explain cruelty to a 7-year-old without destroying her innocence completely. Some people forget how to be kind. Olu finds his mother in the living room, accepting compliments from relatives about what a wonderful party she's thrown, how beautiful her home is, how blessed she is with her family. When she sees him approaching, her smile doesn't falter, it sharpens. He waits until the relatives move away, then speaks quietly, trying to keep this private. "Mom, we need to talk about what just happened with Dara." She looks at him like he's bothering her during something important. "What about it?" Her tone is casual, dismissive. Mom, you deliberately skipped her when handing out cake. You humiliated her in front of everyone. She's a child. Your granddaughter. His mother's expression hardens. You made your choice, Olu. Now live with it. The words hang between them, cryptic but heavy with meaning. Then it clicks. 3 months ago, his mother had called demanding 3 million Nigerian nairas, claiming she needed it for medical expenses. That later turned out to be renovations to this very house. Olu had refused. He's a teacher, a single father, barely making ends meet. 3 million naira might as well be 30 million. He'd offered what he could, 200,000 Nigerian nairas scraped together from savings. She'd called it insulting and hung up on him. This is about the money? Olu keeps his voice low, but his anger is building. You're punishing my daughter because I couldn't give you 3 million naira? His mother's smile is thin, cruel. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm simply choosing who deserves my attention and resources. You made it clear where your priorities are. Before Olu can respond, his older brother Kunal appears, his voice loud enough to carry. You're jealous, Olu. Always have been. Always playing the victim when things don't go your way. Kunal is dressed expensively, designer Igbata, gold watch, the successful banker everyone compares Olu to. Maybe if you'd made better life choices, you wouldn't have to bring your child to beg for cake at other people's parties. The room has gone quiet. Relatives pretending not to listen, but hanging on every word. Olu feels his face burning with humiliation, but more than that, he feels protective fury. They can attack him. He's weathered their judgment for years. But Dara? She's innocent. She's 7. He gently takes his daughter's hand. We're leaving. He walks out with as much dignity as he can muster, Dara's small hand in his, feeling the weight of stairs on his back. That night, after Dara finally falls asleep, she'd cried quietly into her pillow until exhaustion claimed her. Olu's phone lights up with a voice note from his mother. He almost doesn't listen to it, almost deletes it without playing it. But something makes him press play, and his mother's voice fills the quiet of his small apartment. Olu, I've been patient with you. More patient than you deserve. But I need you to understand something clearly. Your daughter doesn't belong with this family. She's not one of us, and I won't pretend otherwise anymore. Stop bringing her to family events. Stop expecting her to be treated like my other grandchildren. You made your choices, you live with the consequences. Don't contact me again until you're ready to show proper respect and meet your obligations. Olu plays the voice note 3 times, each time feeling like he's been punched. His daughter doesn't belong. Not one of us. The casual cruelty is staggering. Dara is his child, his biological daughter. He has the DNA test he'd gotten during the bitter divorce to prove it when his ex-wife tried to claim otherwise. But none of that matters to his mother. Dara's sin, apparently, is having a father who's a teacher instead of a banker, who couldn't produce 3 million naira on demand, who divorced instead of staying in a toxic marriage. His phone buzzes again. A message from his cousin Adiz, someone he hasn't spoken to in months. Olu, is Dara really not your biological child? Auntie is saying some things, and I wanted to hear from you directly before people start talking. Olu's blood runs cold. Someone is spreading lies, dangerous, reputation-destroying lies about his daughter's paternity. And there's only one person cruel enough, calculating enough, to start that particular rumor. He thinks about Tenny's whispered comment. Your child should know her place. The pieces click together with sickening clarity. Over the next week, Olu receives 4 more messages from relatives. Some are concerned, some are judgmental, but all of them reference the same rumor. That Dara isn't really his daughter, that he's raising another man's child, that his ex-wife played him for a fool. The story has spread through the family like wildfire, growing more elaborate with each retelling. He confronts Kunal by phone, his hands shaking with rage. Someone is telling people that Dara isn't mine. I need to know if it's coming from you or Tenny. There's a pause, then Kunal's voice comes through, smug and unapologetic. Tenny might have mentioned something to Mom. You know how she worries about the family reputation. Can't have people thinking the Adeyemi name is associated with questionable situations. Questionable situations? Olu's voice rises. She's my daughter. I have DNA proof. This is defamation. It's illegal. Kunal laughs, actually laughs. Illegal? Olu, you're being dramatic. It's just family talk. Besides, even if she is yours biologically, does it matter? You can't provide for her properly. You can't give her the life she deserves. Maybe it's better if people think she's not really ours. Olu drives to his mother's house uninvited, storms past the gate security who knows him, and finds Kunnel in the living room. I want you to tell me, to my face, why you're spreading lies about my daughter. Kunnel stands, his expression a mixture of irritation and superiority. Mom wants the family name clean, Olu. Do you blame her? You're divorced, struggling, bringing shame to our family with your financial failures. It's embarrassing. So you decided to destroy a child's reputation? Olu's voice is shaking. To what? Teach me a lesson. Kunnel's smile is cold. Besides, you're not in the family plans anymore. The words land like a physical blow. What does that mean? Olu demands. Kunnel walks to a desk, pulls out his phone, and shows Olu an email. See for yourself. The email is from their mother, dated 2 months ago, addressed to Kunnel and copied to the family lawyer. I've decided to revise my will. Only responsible sons deserve to inherit. Olu and his child are removed from all assets. Kunnel will receive everything, as he's proven himself worthy. Olu stares at the screen, his vision blurring with rage and grief. He's being erased from his own family, and worse, so is his innocent daughter. This can't be legal. You can't just. But then he notices an attachment at the bottom of the email chain. He clicks it before Kunnel can pull the phone away. It's a property spreadsheet, meticulously detailed, showing the transfer of multiple assets into Kunnel's name. Houses, land, investment accounts. Olu scrolls through the list, his heart pounding. Then he sees it, Plot 47, Aja District. The piece of land Olu bought with his own savings 5 years ago, the land he'd purchased as an investment for Dara's future, the land titled in his name. Except now, according to this document, it's in Kunnel's name. How is my property on this list? Olu's voice is deadly quiet. Kunnel shifts uncomfortably. Mom said you weren't managing it properly. She transferred it for safekeeping. Transferred it? That's theft. Olu scrolls to the transfer documents, and his hands freeze. There's a signature on the authorization form, supposedly his signature, giving permission for the transfer. But he never signed anything. He looks closer at the scrawl, and his stomach drops. It's his mother's handwriting, a clumsy forgery of his name. Not just family cruelty. Not just emotional manipulation. Actual fraud. Property theft. His mother forged his signature to steal land worth millions of naira. Land he'd worked double shifts to afford. Land meant to secure his daughter's future. I'm going to a lawyer, Olu says, his voice steady now with cold determination. You just confessed to fraud. Kunnel's confidence falters for the first time. You wouldn't. You'd tear the family apart. The family tore itself apart when you decided my daughter wasn't good enough to eat cake with her cousins. The lawyer, Barrister Okonkwo, listens to Olu's story with growing anger and professional interest. He examines the email screenshots, the property documents, the forged signature. This is fraud, property theft, and defamation. You have a strong case, Mr. Adeyemi. But I need to be honest with you. Family litigation can get ugly. Are you prepared for that? Olu thinks about Dara asking if she did something bad. Thinks about the voice note saying she doesn't belong. Thinks about his mother's smirk as she pulled the cake away. I need to protect my daughter through this. That's all that matters. Barrister Okonkwo smiles, the kind of smile lawyers get when they know they have a winning case. Then we'll be methodical. We gather every piece of evidence, record every confession, and we don't move until we're ready. No shouting, no drama. Just facts and law. They develop a strategy. First, record any conversations where family members admit to the lies, the theft, or the deliberate cruelty. Second, gather financial records proving Olu's ownership of the disputed property. Third, compile evidence of the forged signature. Fourth, document the defamation with screenshots of messages and testimony from relatives who heard the rumors. Finally, set up a controlled confrontation where everything comes out at once, giving them no time to destroy evidence or coordinate their lies. Olu calls his mother. His hands are shaking, but his voice is steady. Mom, I want to understand why you transferred my property into Kunnel's name. The line is silent for a moment, then. It needed to be managed properly. You clearly can't handle it. So you forged my signature? Olu prompts gently, the recording app running on his phone. Yes, I signed it. You don't deserve that land anyway. You can't even take care of your own child properly. The land is better in Kunnel's hands. The confession, clear and damning, recorded. Barrister Okonkwo listens to it and nods with satisfaction. Perfect. Now we have intent, confession, and motive. Let's get the property records and signature analysis. Within a week, they have everything. A forensic handwriting analysis confirming the signature is forged, property documents proving Olu's original ownership, bank records showing he paid for the land, and multiple recordings of family members admitting to the theft, the lies, and the deliberate exclusion of Dara. Then Kunnel sends a threatening text. Don't try anything stupid. You know Mom has connections. You'll lose. Olu doesn't respond. Instead, he sends one message to his mother, his brother, and Tenny. I'm requesting a family meeting. I think it's time we resolved everything peacefully. Saturday at 3 p.m. at Mom's house. Please be there. They agree immediately, probably thinking Olu is coming to apologize, to beg for reconciliation, to accept his place at the bottom of the family hierarchy. They have no idea what's coming. Saturday at 3 p.m., Olu arrives at his mother's house with Barrister Okonkwo. The family is gathered in the living room. His mother, Kunnel, Tenny, and several aunts and uncles who've been invited as witnesses to what they assume will be Olu's capitulation. They look confused when they see the lawyer, then annoyed. What's this about Olu? His mother demands. I thought you wanted to make peace. I do, Olu says calmly. I want peace built on truth. He nods to Barrister Okonkwo, who sets up a small speaker. Before we discuss anything, I think everyone should hear something. He presses play on the voice note from Olu's mother, the one where she tells him Dara doesn't belong to the family. Her voice fills the room, cruel and clear. Relatives exchange uncomfortable glances. His mother's face flushes. That was a private conversation. Was this private too? Olu plays the recording of her admitting to forging his signature on the property transfer. The room goes silent. Kunnel's face drains of color. Barrister Okonkwo opens his briefcase with dramatic precision and begins laying out documents on the coffee table. Property records. The forged signature with the forensic analysis showing it's fake. Screenshots of the emails. Bank records proving Olu paid for the land. Witness statements from relatives who were told Dara wasn't his biological daughter. Mrs. Adeyemi, Barrister Okonkwo says formally, you committed fraud by forging your son's signature and illegally transferring property out of his name. Mr. Kunnel Adeyemi and Mrs. Tenny Adeyemi, you engaged in defamation by spreading false rumors about a minor child's paternity. These are serious crimes under Nigerian law. Tenny tries to speak, her voice high and defensive. This is a misunderstanding. I never said, but Olu is ready. He plays another recording, this one from a conversation his cousin Adiz had with Tenny, where Tenny says clearly, Dara is probably not even his biological child. No wonder his mother hates her. I mean, can you blame her? Adiz had been so disturbed by the conversation that she'd recorded it and sent it to Olu. The playback ends. People are gasping. Kunnel is sweating, looking between his mother and his wife like he's trying to figure out who to defend. The family unity is cracking in real time. This is a family matter, his mother says desperately. We can resolve this privately. You made it a legal matter when you committed fraud. Barrister Okonkwo responds coolly. Mr. Adeyemi has the right to pursue criminal charges and civil damages. Kunnel drops to his knees in front of Olu, his expensive agbada pooling around him. Brother, please. Think about the family. Think about Mom's reputation. We can fix this. I'll transfer the land back. We'll stop the rumors. Just don't take this to court. His mother is crying hysterically, her carefully maintained composure completely shattered. You would destroy your own mother? Send me to prison? After everything I did for you. Tenny is trying a different approach, her voice saccharine. It was all a miscommunication. You know how families are. Things get exaggerated. We never meant any harm. But Olu is unmoved. He looks at these people who share his blood but showed his daughter none, who stole from him while claiming to love him, who spread vicious lies about an innocent child to serve their own purposes. His mother, still crying, plays her final card. Are you really going to destroy your own family, Olu? Over a misunderstanding? Over money? What kind of man does that? The room waits for his answer, expecting him to fold, to choose family peace over justice like he always has before. Family, Olu says softly, each word deliberate, doesn't destroy a child's spirit. Family doesn't forge signatures and steal property. Family doesn't spread lies that could follow a 7-year-old girl for the rest of her life. He looks at his mother. You taught me that family means loyalty and love, but you never showed that to my daughter. So maybe you can answer your own question. What kind of family does that? Barrister Okonkwo begins the formal process. The property is legally transferred back to Olu's name within 2 weeks. His mother is required to pay 5 million Nigerian nairas in damages, compensation for the attempted theft, the emotional distress, and the legal fees. Kunal and Tenny are required to sign a formal retraction of the paternity rumors, which is sent to every family member who received the lies. The letter explicitly states that Dara is Olu's biological daughter and that the rumors were false and defamatory. The family splinters. Some relatives support Olu quietly, saying they always knew something was wrong. Others side with his mother, calling him vindictive and ungrateful. Olu doesn't care anymore. He's done seeking their approval. 2 months after the legal resolution, Olu sits with Dara in their small apartment. She's coloring at the kitchen table when she asks the question he's been dreading. "Daddy, why doesn't Grandma like me?" His chest tightens, that familiar protective ache. He sits down beside her, choosing his words carefully. "Some people," he says gently, "can't see what's beautiful. They get confused about what matters. But I see you, baby girl. I see how kind you are, how smart, how brave. And that's what matters." Dara considers this seriously. "Are we still a family?" "Just us. We're the best family," Olu assures her. "The strongest family. Because we choose to love each other every single day." That night, Olu makes a silent vow. He will use the compensation money and the recovered land not for revenge, not for bitterness, but for building. Building a life so secure, so full of love, that his daughter never doubts her worth again. He starts looking at houses in better neighborhoods, places with good schools, places where Dara can have the childhood she deserves. 6 months later, Olu stands in the garden of their new home. Small but theirs, bought with the money from the compensation settlement and the sale of the reclaimed land. Dara is planting flowers, her hands dirty and her smile radiant. She wants a garden, she'd said. A place where things grow. Olu watches her work, this resilient little girl who survived cruelty and came out still capable of joy, still believing in beauty. "Daddy, look." Dara holds up a sunflower seed. "The lady at the store said this will grow taller than me." Olu crouches down beside her. "Then we better plant it somewhere special." They dig together in the soft earth, planting seeds that will bloom into something beautiful. Just like they're doing with their lives, taking the hurt, the betrayal, the cruelty, and transforming it into growth. That evening, cooking dinner in their kitchen while Dara does homework at the new dining table, Olu feels something he hasn't felt in years: peace. Not the absence of conflict, but the presence of purpose. They tried to push his daughter out of the family, tried to make her feel less than, tried to destroy her spirit. But all they did was push them into a better life, a life built on truth, respect, and unconditional love. Dara looks up from her homework. "Daddy, are you happy?" The question catches him off guard. He looks around their modest home, at his daughter's bright eyes, at the life they've built from the ashes of family betrayal. "Yeah, baby," he says, his voice thick with emotion. "I'm really happy." And he means it. They took his inheritance, tried to take his daughter's reputation, did everything they could to diminish him. But standing in this kitchen, in this home, with this remarkable child who still believes in planting flowers, Olu realizes they failed. They failed because real family isn't about blood or money or meeting other people's expectations. Real family is about showing up, protecting each other, and choosing love even when it costs you something. "They tried to push my daughter out of the family," Olu whispers to himself that night, watching Dara sleep peacefully in her new room. "But all they did was push us into a better life." And for the first time since that horrible birthday party, since the cake incident that revealed years of hidden cruelty, Olu feels grateful. Grateful for the lawyer who fought for them. Grateful for the cousins who sent evidence. Grateful for his own courage in refusing to accept that his daughter deserved anything less than dignity. But mostly, he's grateful for Dara, for her resilience, her kindness, her ability to still smile after everything. She's the real victory here. Not the recovered property or the compensation money, but the fact that despite their best efforts to break her spirit, she's still whole, still hopeful, still planting sunflower seeds and believing they'll grow tall. They will. Both the flowers and his daughter. Because Olu will make damn sure of it.